the hip hop, even if it, you know, if hip hop leaves. So corporate America, be that as it may, every major hotel chain participates in pornography. You can go to any hotel right now, click on there and order a movie. Clean off the, you know, right off your TV set.
But what about you?
Me as a whole, I do some music that are for adults, some music that are for some music that are for children.
But Nelly, let me get to the question.
Wait a minute.
No, let me get right to know because I want to hear.
No, you gotta let this man finish his point.
I gotta be the moderator.
But he's gotta finish his point.
I'm gonna let him finish the point, brother. But let's go here because the question that she asked, was, do you sell out for the money? And
well, I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that question, but my overall view was that it's a world thing. It's not just Nelly selling out as far as, you know what I'm saying, do I sell out the tip drill? No, I don't feel like I do. Do I sell out the sister? No, I do not. Did I go grab the sister and say, yo, you're being in my video whether you like it or not? No, we presented a job opportunity and some people came in and they read what was going to be the requirements for the job, and they agreed, as adults do. They make choices in this America, in this place that we call America. You know, that's what America is. It's the right to say yes or no. That's the country that we live in. We have the right to say yes or no. You know what I'm saying? Whether you like it or not, you can say yes or no. That's America, freedom of choice. So by presenting them with that opportunity, some of these young ladies actually needed that money for whatever reason that they stated for, to do whatever purpose that they need, whether it be to send their child to school, whether it be to send their child to daycare so they can go to school and get an education. Now, I agree, when we did tip drill, and I wanted to address to the ladies to Spelman, you know, when I came down and to do a bone marrow drive, to talk to the sister, to try to educate more black people upon cancer and leukemia and things that were positive, I got a backlash and I was going to get protested. You feel what I'm saying? And I felt that was unfair, and I am a little bitter on this subject because I was doing that to help find a donor for my sister that is no longer with me right now. And I feel I was robbed out of an opportunity to help find a donor because I did an adult video that was for adults. And instead of you pulling a brother to the side and saying, yo, brother, after we try to help you find a donor for your sister and help educate the rest of the world on leukemia and cancer, something that's killing our community, then we need to have this discussion over here, which I wouldn't have no problem about doing. But you want to protest, wait a minute, you want to protest my stance and deny me a chance of saving my sister. Now, my sister is gone, but you have yet to protest, you have yet to picket in front of any of them strip clubs that are no more blocked than a 10-block radius from your school.
Hold
on. Because I don't want to negate Nelly's point, but I want us, because we're going to come back to have a conversation about that very topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to do that. We're not going nowhere. And I want us to get back to that, but Nelson, I want us to be able to deal with this piece because there's so much that is dealt with when we talk about creativity and money. And is hip-hop now in a place where creativity is not rewarded because executives that have no creativity are telling artists what they have to do to sell?
Well, there's a disconnect in the United States between hip-hop and its roots. And I say United States specifically. If you travel, I just came back from France. They still do graffiti art. They still break dance. They still respect emceeing in a different... It's still... They're political inherently because they're always talking about Bush. They're talking about the war in Iraq. These are things that either American MCs are not allowed to do or don't think to do. And I'm not quite clear. I'm not ready to make a blanket statement about what's happening there, but I know for a fact that we have black men shooting brown men in the war right now, and our folk voice, which is hip-hop, doesn't seem to address it on any consistent basis. And it's amazing to me that it doesn't, because when you look at some of the other things in history that we've dealt with, from the Nelson Mandela, there was anti-crack, some stuff Chuck did. I mean, we have a tradition in our music of talking about all the conditions that affect us, not just whether or not we can sell records, whether or not we got bling. And to pick up on Nelly's point, the real issue here is some artists have talked about it, but it's not their single, it's not their video. And those are decisions that are made outside of them. We need to be interrogating the record companies. The artists have responsibility as well. They're all, I don't want to disconnect that. The record company, the artists have responsibility, and the radio stations. So we have to make sure this whhole matrix of things control how this expression goes.
Weigh in, Stanley, on this.
Yeah, but now, one thing is that Russell Simmons and others
have made the point that 4 out of 5 videos and rap recordings are sold to white boys in the suburbs. Now, whatever you want to say, that means that the majority of this material is bought outside of the community it's supposed to be describing. So that community obviously likes these jigaboo, buffoons, gold-toothed, tattooed, bling-wearing guys, killing each other, selling drugs. They like that image.
Well,
and
so wait,
no. Now here's the thing. Well, wait a minute.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Now here's
because I'm one of them gold too.
Now, yeah, I know.
I got 2 of them.
I know. But the point is that those images are tailor-made for a particular community, the suburbs. And see, that's the issue, it seems to me.
So you're going to what Chuck said earlier about the fact that people in their image are being marketed for another group of people. I want to get to Mike on this real quick. Mike, weigh in real quick for me.
I mean, a lot of people try to hide what's really going on in the streets. I mean, they going after hip-hop because we're addressing what's really going on in the streets that people try to hide. I mean, when you watch news, they hide everything that's going on. They hide it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you actually sit back and watch TV, they hide what's going on. You know what I'm saying? They'll edit, they cut, they chop. You know what I'm saying? And we as rappers are the only ones that's really letting people know what's really going on. And like Nelly said, I mean, the video, you got some for adults, you got some for kids. You know what I'm saying? You got some. I mean, that's why it's called BET Uncut. Uncut. It's uncut. You don't let your kids watch that uncut. You don't let your kids watch that. When you go in a hotel, they got flicks. You know what I'm saying? And when you lay down, you do what you do.
Mike.
You know what I'm saying?
But wait.
I mean, right.
And though
keep it real. I mean, you know.
And though we know that they cut BET Uncut.
Right. Well,
I don't want Stanley to get off the hook here.
They cut it because of stuff like this. No. But look, they cut it because of stuff like this. See, it's what you call entertainment. When Hugh Hefner was doing it way before us, it was never no Playboy Against America. You know what I'm saying? But then you got songs where you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? You got songs where like Nelly, he does songs that's entertainment. That's something that everybody can listen to. But then you're a grown man at the end of the day too. I mean, I know me. I go to the street car like to have fun.
Well, I don't
All right, but hold on. Wait.
Before it got to the street, it started in the house. And that person, that pimp, that person who you say is the scum of the earth, he was probably one of your sons, and you didn't spend enough time with him.
Let's not act like we have more.
That since the beginning of time, and this present situation is just one instance of it, the challenge is always greed, pleasure, and power. More money, more stimulation, more status. All of them idolatrous in the end. We all need money, we all need some pleasure. We all like to have a little bit of status. But when those are the only ones coming at one, especially when you're young with powerful television and video and film and so forth, and music, that people get stunted, their growth gets stunted because they don't realize there's other things in life other than just greed, pleasure, power, status, and wealth.
I don't want to get off where Stanley was.
I don't want to
because
let him get off
there was a value placement. There was a value placed on who is in this music and who it's marketed to. For I need to come back to
What I want to say just briefly is that the same thing that we talk about with who listens to hip hop in terms of race, it's also gender. So many women listen to hip hop, and I feel like we're fundamentally disrespected every day. The question is, why do we keep buying it? That's the question I have.
Nelly, hold on. Nelly, I want you to have a last word on this.
I think as a whole, I don't think we're giving our sisters enough credit. I don't think we're giving our sisters enough credit for understanding, like, yo, he's not talking about me.
Yeah.
He's having fun.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I don't think we're giving our sisters enough
It's
credit.
all those other B's and H's, not me.
No. I'm just saying, I just don't think we're giving our sisters enough credit. I just don't. I think at the
So
same
it's not
time.
about anybody? Everybody is not her?
No.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Holmes. I think it goes back to the freedom of expression. You feel me? If you look at what's happened out here as far as with the border control, you had the riots with the Mexicans protesting against the police. You saw the police brutality of everything that was going on. Now, if you'd had one of those young Mexican brothers go to the studio and make a song called F the Police, because he just had his head beat last night, beat in by the police, then we should understand why he's doing this. He's saying, yo, why are you making this song? It's because, yo, I just saw the police beat my little brother down in the street. I just saw the police hit me over the head with a flashlight. So obviously, I have a passion right now to go in the studio and say, you know what? I'm not going to take this no more. Now, resulting to the question of what you're saying as far as political, if I come in the house and I'm married, and I come in the house and my wife is in the room with 3 other guys, I have a right to go to the studio that night and say, yo, I hate this beat.
Wait.
It's not like I'm saying that for every young sister. I'm not like I'm saying that for every young sister that's out there.
Nelly, you absolutely have the right.
Yeah.
But my question is, why is everything so carbon copy? Why is every woman in X, Y, and Z popular videos look the same? That's not about free expression. That's about mind control.
No, but
And at the end of the day, wait. We're gonna have to move on to the next subject because I've heard everything that's been said. And at the end of the day, the problem that I have is we're still not talking about how do we control the distribution of our own stuff. And whether it's marketed to white America or marketed to the rest of the world, we're not the ones really making the money on it. Nelson, before we get out of here, talk to me about how do we begin to go from just being independent labels to being independent distribution machines that really deal with the dollar value in hip-hop and it coming back to the people who really create it.
Well, look, the bottom line is that this is beyond this. The economic models we're talking about don't exist anymore. The record business is a dinosaur.
Right.
Period. So we're talking about the internet. We're talking about alternative means. The ways in which hip-hop and in fact, anybody can profit from music, we don't even know right now, quite honestly, because we're still figuring it out. I mean, but the interesting thing, one of the models that is obvious, and it goes right back to this idea of who controls it. Corporations are sponsoring tours. Corporations are sponsoring, a guy like Nelly, let's say, Hennessy might say, I'm going to put him on a 40-city tour or whatever. So you're going to see more and more corporate relationships with hip-hop. It's not going to get lessened, it's going to get more intense.
Well,
All right.
and
Hold on,
also,
y'all. Nelly, I gotta
No,
go on
but
this. I gotta go on this. I got to.
We're not keeping the show honest because we're not keeping it honest.
Be honest for me.
Well,
Be honest for me.
We have to be honest because, I mean, let's not act like we haven't grown. Let's not act like we have more black billionaires today now than we have ever had in this country, period. You feel what I'm saying? The only reason that we do have this.
All right,
What you
Stanley.
say?
Bitches, hoes, and pimps. We still got to deal with that.
Of course.
Now it's not just about a girl. It's about body parts. It's about who's...
It's the young girls that are watching that need to see more role models so that they can feel comfortable with making a decision as to, I want to be like her. And what's happening is these particular women are being glorified in these videos, and you know, young girls don't know any better. They're watching the TV, they see that young girl getting all of the attention because they're not getting it. And I was one of those girls who didn't get attention from my daddy. So now, does that mean attention from any man in any kind of way is good? No.
Welcome back to Hip Hop vs. America, where we're tackling the hip hop debate head on. I'm Jeff Johnson, and we're talking about women and hip hop. Check this out.
Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing.
The only reason I'm in the video is probably because I had a big butt. Of course, it's my butt.
How did we get here?
I don't think it's a bad thing to be in a music video. I love music videos.
From Bubba Sparks' Miss New Booty to 50 Cent's Disco Inferno, it seems like all today's black woman has to offer is a fat ass.
This is a vestige of slavery, the idea that a black woman is there to work, reproduce, and now she's not there to reproduce, but there's still her sexuality for sale.
What used to be confined to pornography is now moving to the mainstream in order to make big money.
I have a good time in the club. Why I can't have a good time in front of the camera? What's the difference? The art form of dance, of choreography, has gone away. I mean, you might think of a Beyonce video or a Sierra video where you still see, where you feel like, okay, they've done some real choreography here. But a lot of the male-oriented videos, they just up there shaking and acting like there's 2 minutes out of the strip club.
I think what the thing is with black women and how we're sexualized, there's that extra layer of racism there, and there's that extra layer of dehumanization.
You can't stop documenting, or you can't stop doing that because people think that that's wrong. You know?
What's the big deal? It's a video. You don't see white people coming down on white videos when white girls are shaking.
When you have white women who are overly sexualized and that's their only purpose, you can still imagine them in a different form because you can turn the channel and see them doing other things.
Look, if my daughters grow up and they're like, hey, Dad, I'm about to be in Nelly new video. Like, word. So how are you going to be portrayed and understand that this image is going to follow you?
Ultimately, when we look at these images, and when we look at the way that we've allowed it to translate down to our girls, we have to be able to admit, wherever the spiritual lacking is that would allow us to accept that, is problematic.
We certainly need more women who are free, who are critical, who are courageous. Because a lot of this just has to do with people are just too conformist and complacent and too cowardly and just obsessed with making money and fitting in by any means, becoming well adjusted to injustice.
We're about to get right up into this right now. The panel I have with me, writer and soon-to-be author Kim Osorio. Yeah. From St. Louis, Nelly. The newest professor at Georgetown, Michael Eric Dyson. Melissa Ford. Stanley Crouch. And T.I. Melissa Ford, you are a former video model turned actress and one of, in many cases, the poster women for what a video girl is. What responsibility do rap videos, hip-hop videos have on the negative images of black women?
I mean, the landscape of videos has changed drastically, even since I was a participant in music videos. It was a way to supplement my income in order to pay for my education. I was pursuing higher education. I was in university. So it was just a way to make some extra money. I sacrificed, you know, I made choices. I always understood that it was a choice that I had. Girls didn't aspire to be video models like they do now. Now they don't seem to have goals past becoming a video model because the position has been glorified.
And I'm not gonna knock the sacrifice.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is I wanna deal with the product.
The product.
And so I'm not knocking the hustle. The hustle is real, and there are women who are making it work.
Yes,
but
there are.
What the product that's being produced, how has that negatively or positively affect the images of black women?
Now it's not just about a girl. It's about body parts. It's about who's got the biggest booty. It really is about who's got the biggest booty now. She's the biggest star. Girls clamor for the camera. They want the most burn. So in order to get that, they're willing to do more salacious things than a girl who looks at the wardrobe and says, you know, I'm not comfortable wearing that. I'm not comfortable doing that. It's a matter of choice. My moral and value system indicated that I wasn't comfortable doing certain things, whereas another girl was like, hey, whatever, give me the skimpiest thing, point me towards the camera, and I'm gonna make it work for myself. So unless there's people present within your life in order to make you understand that it's fantasy and not reality, it's really going to have a very, very strong effect on you and how you present yourself as a young woman to the world.
Nelly, let me have you chime in there, because I think one of the things that Melissa just talked about is real. There is not an understanding between fantasy and reality. People don't know what happens behind the scenes. How do we as a community deal with that when so many of these young women are wanting to be this because they feel like it's real when it's a game?
I think, again, it goes back to the family. It goes back to the household. It goes back to the father and the mother instilling certain values within the daughter, saying, yo, listen to this. Your body is your best, is your temple. You know, you cherish that. If you want to be respected, you respect yourself first, and then the choices that you choose, you will be judged for later on in life. So I think those are the things that you have to, you know, you have to constantly say that. A lot of girls, like she said again, when she did it to help get her through college. So she had a purpose for doing it. You feel what I'm saying? But you don't know that purpose.
So do we feel like the purpose because I know people that, like, I'm selling weed. I'm selling rocks to go to college.
I mean, life is sacrifice.
So no. So hear me out though. Right. So does the means justify the outcome.
There are still so many different types.
I know people that like I'm selling weed.
I mean,
I'm
life,
selling rocks to go to college.
I mean, life is sacrifice.
So no. So hear me out though.
Right.
So does the means justify the outcome?
I mean, that's not for me to judge, but what I'm saying is that life is sacrifice. Somebody has to sacrifice in order for the next generation to succeed. You can't do everything right for the next generation to come along. Then they have nothing to shoot for. If everything is going right for this generation, then what is this generation going to shoot for? It's a building process. We've been set back 400 years. We got a lot of catching up to do, regardless, and a lot of sacrifice must be made in order to catch up. So if this sister has to sacrifice for the next young sister to say, you know what, I appreciate what Melissa did, but I also learned that behind the scenes, Melissa got a lot of things going for her. She started her own company. She started her own business. So now when I go in, I just don't want to be a video vixen. I want to be an entrepreneur who started out doing videos. You see what I'm saying? So
Mike, I want you to, I'll hold on to you real quick. I want Mike to come in, Dr. Dyson, excuse me, to come in, because you've been sitting more still than I've ever seen you sit, which means you brewing. So chime in on this for me.
Well, look, first of all, you know, we can't pretend that the gluteus emphasis on maximus has been has been articulated first off in hip-hop. I was on the street corners in Detroit. I'm 48 years old. I heard a brother say, girl, you got a great future and it's all behind you. So the reality is that it didn't begin there. But the problem is the reduction of the complexity of black female identity to the gluteus maximus, because what about a brain? What about a heart? What about a soul? We can look at this woman who is ebony ecstasy and furrowed in coffee flesh, and we can see that she's extraordinarily beautiful. But obviously she has a cerebral capacity that is defying what she looks like in terms of stereotypes. But here's the problem. The tragedy is that so many women are reduced to shaking their behinds, their belligerent behinds or their bouncing bosoms to make a living as a means toward an end, as opposed to in a society where we open up space of opportunity for black women to choose other routes than being a video vixen or employing their bodies as a means toward an end. See, Nelly, as brilliant and good looking as he is, doesn't have to have only the display of his physical masculinity as a means to achieve his end. So already in a patriarchal box, we're placing women in a narrow framework that only allows them to work that behind toward a higher goal. But the tragedy is that the masses of black women and others are being taught that their bodies are their most important possession. They are temples, but as a means toward an end that they don't always control. And finally, let me say this. The tragedy is that when we look at black America, women are being reduced to their essential physical embodiment, not just in hip-hop. If you look at the church, black women constitute 75 to 80%.
And I want you to stay right there.
Right.
Because, Stanley, I need you to chime in. Because when I want to deal with the objectification aspect of women and the sexism and the misogyny, because when I heard people coming after Nelly about tip drill, it was as if hip-hop created sexism and misogyny. Hold up. So, Stan, I need you to chime in here because Dr. Dyson will do a dissertation for me.
Yeah, well,
no disrespect, but I didn't talk long before.
But I mean, you know, you've always got these kind of arguments where somebody says, well, black people don't make Smith & Wesson. Black people didn't make knives. Black people don't make razors. They might use them, but they don't make them. But the point is, if I take a gun and I murder him, I'm guilty of that. It doesn't make any difference who made the gun. In other words, if you make a sexist video, if you make a dehumanizing video, if you reduce a female to a bitch, a hoe, if you elevate a pimp who is one of the most scurry people on the face of the earth, if you do that, you have done something wrong.
We cannot get those early 90s, late 80s, we can't get that back. But if we don't start here and stop complaining about what was and start with the what is, we're going to forever be lost.
If we put a bunch of school teachers in suit jackets and long skirts in our video, and BET say, what is this? We can't play this. What we gonna do?
I think it's very important to keep in mind that misogyny and patriarchy are very much a way of life in America. It goes from Wall Street to Main Street, and hip-hop in its dominant forms contributes to the worst of degraded images of women, especially black women. At the same time, you've got hip-hop artists who are very critical of those degrading images, but those artists don't receive the kind of visibility they deserve.
Here's the question. Here's the question.
Right.
If That's the reality.
Thank you.
Is hip-hop the culprit, or do we have to deal with the fact that the black church is as sexist by continuing to have only men at the forefront when all women serve? Is civil rights as sexist when black men were the spokespersons but women did all the work? And hip-hop inherited that sexism and misogyny. Come on.
From the world. That's just not here, that's the world.
No, the first thing,
Like you said.
the first thing is this. Trying to obfuscate an individual wrong by enumerating a bunch of other ones doesn't have anything to do with the issue. If I go to attack her and she's fighting me off and I say, well, you know, there are a whole bunch of people in America who rape people. That doesn't change what I'm doing. That does not.
Wait. That individual responsible instead of holding the whole culture.
Everybody. Right. Now, T.I. Let me hold on. Let me let you come in on here real quick because he still didn't answer the question. But I want you to chime in.
This music has always been about what goes on in these neighborhoods. As Professor said, you know, he on the streets of Detroit, he heard a man say to a woman, you know, refer to her backside as her most valuable asset, if you will. So, of course, it's going to be reflected in hip-hop, which you will see on screen. But it started in the streets. And before it got to the street, it started in the house. And that person, that pimp, that person who you say is the scum of the earth, he was probably one of your sons. And you didn't spend enough time with him. So that's probably where it lies. That's probably where the problem lies. That's probably where the problem lies.
The problem is not that you're seeing this in hip-hop. The problem is that this is the only thing that you're seeing in hip-hop, and there's no longer diversity. When we look at hip-hop's earlier years, you saw so many different positive representations of women, but today, that is not what you're seeing. And no, there's nothing wrong with a woman being a video model and using that to further her career, but why can't women be looked at as intellectuals? So that's the thing. We have to stop looking at women as just one sort of thing. Okay, the only representation of women in hip-hop is the video model. No, women do many things.
This is what I was saying before when you cut me off before.
Stuff is out there.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. What I was trying to say before you cut me off is that the church, right, all I was saying is that when we talk about the reduction of black women's identity to something that is not essential to them and using them for purposes that don't elevate them. We can't start with hip-hop because I was about to say 75% of the black church is constituted by black women. They can cook, they can clean, they can sew, they can pay their tithes, but they can't run the church they numerically dominate. That's ecclesiastical apartheid. You got women up in there who can't dominate the very institution they run. So I'm saying to you, you may not be calling a woman a bitch, a hoe, a skeezer, a slut, a chicken, and a hood rat, but if you treat them in a certain way, they become ecclesiastical hoes because you, as the preacher, become the pimp articulating a gospel that demonizes them.
Again, in part, and just as she said, not all earlier on in hip-hop, as she said from early on in hip-hop, there's still so many different types of diversified forms of hip-hop that are out there. But you know what? They don't see the light of day. You know why? Because the people don't buy it. You know why? Because the standards aren't set there in the home.
But can I challenge that?
When Two Live Crew come out and go triple platinum, and then you have Brand Nubian who only sold 300,000 that year. You know what I'm saying? That just says what America wants to hear. Don't blame us for selling it. Blame them for buying it.
Because you know what hip-hop is? Hip-hop is a mirror. All hip-hop is a mirror. And it's staring at America right back in his face. And that's what you're getting right now. It's a big mirror, and this is what you created. And America is looking in this mirror, and sometimes they don't like what they see. But it's what you created, and now it's due to us, like I said again, to work our way up out of it. But we got to start with the kids. We lost a generation. We lost a generation. We can't get that crack. We cannot get those early 90s, late 80s. We can't get that back. But if we don't start here and stop complaining about what was and start with the what is, we're going to forever be lost.
Before you come in, Dr. Dyson, because I want to deal with part of the what is. And I'm seeing around the country, hold up.
I got you.
White women, suburban women taking pole classes.
Right.
Right, as a workout. Good. Now, how do we find ourselves in a place that hip-hop in many cases glamorized strippers to the place where it's become acceptable in areas where traditionally it would have been put away.
Well, you made a very interesting point. You said glamorize. It didn't create it, glamorize it. Glorifies it. That's one thing. Glorification and glamorization are, in one sense, an excessive concentration on something that's pre-existing, so they didn't create it. That's very important to say. And usually it's the extension of black male crotch or white male crotch. The challenge I would like to give to my beautiful, brilliant brothers here, T.I. and Nelly, yes, it is a mirror. Tupac said, somebody wake me, I'm dreaming. I started as a seed in semen, swimming upstream, planted in the womb while screaming. Okay, beautiful. But it's not just a mirror. Martin Luther King Jr., if he worked off a mirror, would have said, I'm going to reflect back to white pathological society, the white supremacy they put in me. He said, no, it's not a mirror. I got a dream. A dream shatters the mirror that is reflected back to what they create in us, and we can create different models, paradigms, and understandings ourselves. So I would say, if in your videos you could have not only women shaking their behinds, but displaying the intellectual acuity that they possess that allows them to do something different than shake their behind. Where are the different images, even in your videos and in the videos of black people who are rap artists, that show something different? I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying we have to have a broader complex of images from which they can draw.
What you say that?
People have to support.
That's we're going to be out of business. If we put a bunch of school teachers in suit jackets and long skirts in our video, and BET say, what is this? We can't play this.
We've done those videos. So what are you saying? Do we take the sisters out and put in white women?
Oh, whoa. No. Melissa, I need you to come in. I need you to come in right here. Melissa,
issue now.
I feel like I'm trying to get on the highway, and the cars are just going this way. I can't get on the highway.
Come on in. Come on in.
I mean, but let's not overcomplicate the situation. It's great to look at this as an intellectual conversation, but what are the kids listening to right now? Are they going to listen to T.I. and Nelly, or are they going to listen to the intellectuals? And we have to remember that when we put it in the music, in our messages. Now, when
Kim is very accurate because a lot of times the images that are on our screen are because of the lyrical content. It's telling a story. Music tells a story. The videos play out the story of the lyrical content. Music has become extremely formulaic these days. It talks about a lifestyle that is extremely hard to emulate. Very few of us can actually afford the lifestyle that is portrayed in music videos these days. And a large portion of that lifestyle is to have not just one girl, not just two, but 20. And that lends credibility to this, to the virality of men, the stamina of the rap star. You know what I'm saying?
And what you're dealing with is here's the point we're not dealing with. We're talking about gender. It's not just about women. It's about men. Why are the narrow, emaciated, famished perceptions of men reduced to what we can do with our crotch or what we can do with our cash? Can we do something with our souls, our minds, our spirits?
They're not. Those images are there. Like, there are many artists that are putting out positive images talking about something different. They're not getting the right promotion. They're not getting the right play. I sat here with Nelly, and he said that his label doesn't even want him to be here today. So we have to look at that. Instead of attacking him for Tip Drill, which has all of a sudden defined his career.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what happened. Embrace the fact that he's here talking about it.
We are out of time, but the conversation doesn't end here. The issues discussed tonight have to be an ongoing part of all of our conversations, not just those on TV.
All of us have a stake in hip-hop's future, the labels, the artists, and especially the fans. If it dies, it's your fault.
Thank you all for watching. Thanks to our audience and to our guests. I'm Jeff Johnson.
I'm Torre. Peace.
Go to BET.com/onblast for the premiere of episode 3 of Hip Hop vs. America, as well as exclusive outtakes.
Oh, that's what we doing? Alright. Yeah. Phone blowing. Alright. Mic check 1, 2. Run it. Phone blowing up to my hoes, I can't get with y'all. Should I cut the dough with flour or some fentanyl? Ask your bitch about me, I wear the biggest draws. Why you even talking to me, you the biggest fraud? On the block with that, trying to work on something. Lying to my bitch, she probably think I'm at work or something.